Hello and welcome back to NoBS. Today we return to talking about the Joe Biden crime family. That's right. Right ahead of this election, Joe Biden, the Democratic candidate, has been exposed for having very corrupt dealings with foreign nations and also having shady deals involving his son, his brother, and other parts of his family. The Bidens are real bad. They've been caught taking money from Russia, getting bribes from China, getting big cushy jobs they don't deserve in Ukraine, paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And recently, we've had more confirmation about this story coming from a guy named Tony Bobulinski. Now, he's been going around in the news circles for the last few weeks. Specifically, just a few days ago, he did a very groundbreaking interview on Tucker Carlson. He revealed a lot of bad things about the Biden family. And the thing that we need to stress before we go forward is this guy would know. He knows the Bidens. He worked with them closely and intimately. In fact, he was the CEO of the Biden Family Corporation. They have this company that works for their family that does all their business dealings, and this guy was the chief executive officer for that company. So needless to say, he knows what's going on there. He had a lot of information, a lot of ears and eyes and people telling him stuff there. He saw stuff with his own eyes. So we're going to go over that and check out some of the interview. This is a clip that was posted on YouTube. I'm surprised they're letting this get shared, but there's a reason it already has 2 million views in 13 hours, and that's because it's exposing a lot of bad stuff about the Bidens coming from this close advisor and employee of theirs. And right after this part of the interview, someone was claiming that this laptop and this information was Russian disinformation. And that's what really set Tony Bobulinski off, because he doesn't want to be called Russian. He doesn't want to have to do with that. He wants to show you that he's exposing the Bidens and it's coming from an internal American source that is closely dialed in with them. So with that said, without further ado, let's check out the interview.
Comes from the Kremlin.
I held a top secret clearance from the NSA and the DOE. I served this country for 4 years in one of the most elite environments in the world, Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. And to have a congressman out there speaking about Russian disinformation, or Joe Biden at a public debate referencing Russian disinformation, when he knows he sat face to face with me, that I was traveled around the world with his son and his brother, to say that and associate that with my name is absolutely disgusting to me.
So that's a big part of the reason he's coming forward. I wanted to start with that because a lot of people are going to question him, question motives, act like this is some kind of bombshell, last minute October surprise, might be fake, might be exaggerated. But the truth is, this is a guy coming to light because he's been accused of being some kind of Russian operative. They say it's coming from Russia. Essentially, the Democrats are using their old and tired excuse. This is something they've done for years. Hillary Clinton has been blaming Russia for her loss since 2016. They always try to tie it to Trump, even though there's no connections, no proof. And that's the same thing they're doing with the Biden story. They're trying to bury the Biden corruption story by saying it's Russian disinformation, but there's no proof of anything to do with Russia at all. I haven't seen it, at least. If you guys find it, please put it out there or post it or link it in the comments or put it on Twitter or something, because I've seen nothing to do with Russia. The only Russia connection I see here was that part of the corruption was the Bidens got $3 million from a Russian oligarch, like the mayor's wife gave Hunter Biden $3 million. Hunter Biden is supposed to kick back like 10% to the big guy or his dad, Joe Biden, the candidate. That's been proven in the emails and the texts and the information dump too. So I don't know why it's being called Russian disinformation, why they're acting like the conservatives are colluding with Russia to go after Biden's, when it's really just us exposing their true crimes.
Did you complain about that? I mean, to suggest that you were committing treason or a part of a foreign attack on our democracy, which is how they characterized it. I mean, that's such a serious and I think unfair charge. Did you bring this up with them?
Well, in basic form, you're exactly right. They are publicly accusing me of treason right now, treating me like I'm insignificant, or the 50 years of history that my family served this country is insignificant. And that's why I'm sitting here having this. I assure you, this is the absolute last place I want to be right now and the last thing I want to be doing right now. But I feel like I have a patriotic duty to this country and every American citizen to go on record and to find the facts for them and let them do their own own work. Let them decide how they view those facts or not. But for the Biden family to deny these facts and then not only deny them, they could have just said no comment, but they didn't say no comment. They then brought in Russian disinformation and basically associated my name with that, which is absolutely disgusting to me. And I had to go on the record. Last weekend.
So before he goes on, he's going to talk about last weekend, but yes, he's defending his name. He's been forced his hand. The Democrats didn't play it cool. They didn't just no comment or deny. They're still doing that too. But they also tried to flip it and act like Russia was involved. They tried to implicate some of their underlings, like this guy. Like, sure, this Bobulinski guy is a longtime Democrat, likely did other bad things. He certainly supported bad candidates and policies, but him coming forward here is respectable. You can actually believe him that he does love the country, which is kind of a surprise. Most Democrats wouldn't lead you on to believe that. I'm not even sure. I guess he's still a Democrat. I'm not sure. You just would assume, but I guess we don't want to put words in his mouth there either. But he's working for these lefties. They turned on him, so he has to come out and clear his name. That's why he's doing this interview that he says he clearly doesn't want to do. Obviously, this is a burden on him and everyone else. This is a very controversial and serious time to do it too. So he's sticking his neck out there just to try and help the American people ahead of the election so we don't elect this big corrupt monster, Joe Biden.
I was in Virginia. Sadly, my sister-in-law passed away at around, I think, 6:38 Saturday morning. That's the wife of my brother who spent 28 years serving this country as a naval flight officer and just retired. So you can imagine me dealing with that and the tragedy of that. When I saw Adam Schiff go on record talking about Russian disinformation after this email had been posted online by the New York Post, and remember that email was to me from James Gilliar, right? It wasn't, I wasn't blind carboned or CC'd on that. It was to me stating that I was going to be the CEO of this enterprise. I was at the end of my rope. And so
he got triggered by Adam Schiff, a proper trigger, though. Trigger implies a bad kind of reaction, but really he got alerted when Adam Schiff started lying about him. Adam Schiff is one of the biggest liars in America. He always does the lying for the Democrats. He's the one that pushed the Russia collusion. He's the one that said they had evidence when they didn't. Now he's claiming that this stuff is Russian disinformation. Just kind of like he's one of the muscle men. I wouldn't say muscles because he's really weak. He's like this weak vegan guy who looks like Pinocchio, looks like he's going to be falling apart. But essentially, they sent him out to lie for Democrats. He's a big liar. His name's Adam Schiff. He's a terrible representative from Burbank, California. And it's not surprised that he dipped the toe in here in this discussion. He's trying to help Biden, just like how he tried to help with the Trump impeachment. All this stuff is failing. Hopefully, the Biden campaign fails too. Hopefully, more people see this Bobulinski interview.
I called Rob Walker and I told him that if that statement isn't retracted by Congressman Schiff by midnight on Sunday, that I was going on record and I was disclosing all the facts to the American government, to the American citizen, and the world. I was hoping the Bidens would do the right thing or Schiff would retract his statement, but I could not allow another minute, another hour, or day for my family's name to be associated or muddied up around Russian disinformation. So
this is the real reason. This is a good explanation to see why he's coming out now. A lot of people might question this because it's so late in the game, so close to the election. This interview was released exactly a week before people vote. But again, his hand was forced. People were coming out, associating him with Russia, acting like he's a liar because he turned up in these emails that leaked out. Now he's confirming all that. That's another important thing. He is on the Hunter Biden leak. There was a laptop that leaked with lots of emails and connections and texts and other photos and information. This guy is confirming a lot of that. Sure, he's not connected to every single thing. There's some other really shady stuff to do with illegal narcotics on there, other stuff with girls and stuff. But as far as the emails and the business and the corruption with the Biden Foundation and with them dealing with these other countries, asking for coverage and stuff like that, he was privy to that. He was part of the emails. He's confirming those emails. No one's denying that they exist. And that's what makes this whole thing really messed up.
There was 10 people running around, getting him something to drink, and we were backstage in a cramped space, and he asked me to walk with him out to the car, and he just asked, how I did and what I thought of his speech, and I thought he did a great job in the speech, and obviously cancer is a very serious thing that we should all be working together to solve. I just lost a sister-in-law within the last 2 weeks, sadly, to cancer. And then he just sort of asked me to keep an eye on his son and his brother.
What do you think he meant by that?
I think it was conscious of things, and I can't speak for him. Maybe
Right.
I would love for him to go on record. As I referenced earlier, I'm only sitting here because they have not only have they not gone on record, they've denied it and they've tarred my family name.
So this was the beginning of the conversation, him talking about Biden, asking him to look out for his son and brother, knowing that bad things had been going on in his family, knowing that his son has had all these problems, knowing that his brother and them are involved in these shady business deals. It's just really, really a bad look. There's a lot more to it too. More of the interview we'll get to. And if you guys want to check more, I'll have the link to the full interview below.
Officer and just retired. So you can imagine me dealing with that and the tragedy of that.
So you said this to him. I won't go public. I just want them to retract the accusation that I'm an instrument of Russian disinformation. What did he say?
That's correct. Rob is under a tremendous amount of stress.
Right.
Obviously, his wife and a child, and he said, "Listen, let me make some calls. Let me call George, who's Hunter Biden's lawyer, and see what I can do." But he sort of presented it as if that's going to be impossible for me to get done. And I'm not naive. I know that's not impossible to do. That's a single phone call from Joe Biden to Adam Schiff saying, basically, go on record and retract your statement. You got over your skis. And
So, yeah, like he said, Biden could have fixed this. They could have cleared his name. They could have left Bobulinski out of this. But since they tied him to Russia falsely with no information, he's coming out, confirming the emails, showing that the Bidens are corrupt, showing that Joe Biden asked him to look after his son and brother, like what this guy might have to do as a CEO for their company. He knows what's going on. There's more to the story here. Obviously, you could check it out for yourselves. You could look into it. But as we could see here, the CEO of the Biden company coming out against them, being forced to reveal bad facts about the Bidens, showing that their family is far more corrupt than most people think. With that said, that about wraps things up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you comment your thoughts on everything below. Subscribe if you're new and hit the bell for notifications too. Until next time, have a great day.